Hello trainers, Professor Palm here, and welcome to March Meltdown. For this whole month of March, I will be talking non-stop about Fire-type Pokemon. As you all know, choosing a Fire-type starter is what a lot of us do because getting a Fire-type Pokemon early in the game is nearly impossible. Well, in the original regions, and now it's much more easier. As I said, throughout all of March, I want to talk about Fire-type Pokemon, and I'm sure many of you really do love Fire Pokemon. So, how else should we start this video than with an eruption? Let's travel to Reversal Mountain and Mount Chimney to talk about two of my personal favorite Fire Pokemon, Numel and Camerupt. Now, Numel here are fire camels that represent dromedary camels, or, as many people call them, one-hump camels, as these Pokemon's humps look like clay pots, and in the inside of them, it is filled with molten magma. With Numel, it's very hard to sometimes tell the difference between a male and a female, but if you look at mine, you can tell mine is female because of the hump it has on its back. You see, females have a much higher elevated hump than a male. The hump on its back, as I said, which is filled of molten magma, actually represents a volcano if you look very, very carefully. Numel are surprisingly very dim-witted Pokemon, very similar to Slowpoke, as it does take them a while to realize that they've been attacked, and it also takes them a bit to realize they need to fight back. They also have very slow-witted abilities with Oblivious, which ignores Attraction as well as Taunt, and they also have Simple, which ignores the stat changes. If you didn't know, the reason camels have humps on their back is that's where they store the water. In Numel's case, that's where it stores its magma. Its magma can reach a total temperature of 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. And even though it has tons of magma in it, the more it uses fire-type moves, the lower its hump will get. But this Pokemon makes its own magma very, very easily, so the hump regains its shape very quickly. Despite the fact that it makes its own magma very easily, this Pokemon is prone to getting a blockage in its hump, which unfortunately makes it very sluggish at points. It also becomes very sluggish and slow in the rain. Numel hates water, not just because it's a 4 times weakness to it, but because it puts out a lot of its fire moves, and it also starts to harden the magma in its hump, which takes a lot of effort to break, as this Pokemon does not have hands, and getting something to break it is very, very hard. In the olden days, Numel were very helpful for transportation. These Pokemon can carry up to 220 pounds, and they were very, very helpful when getting through deserts, despite the fact that none of these Pokemon live in the desert. Now, even though Numel is a very dim-witted Pokemon, it does have a dark side, and you definitely do not want to see it when it is angry. But if you think that sounds scary to see a dim-witted Pokemon angry, just wait till you evolve and you see the true anger it has at the max in Camerupt. Now, with the volcano, at a very quiet way, we can tell that Camerupt is at peace, and thankfully, it's not as mad as we think it could. Huh? Oh no, that can only mean one thing. Volcano's erupting, which means... Yep, there he is. The anger management Pokemon, Camerupt. It appears that Camerupt jumped out of that volcano to join us, and it was a pleasure to see this thing join us. Camerupt are Bactrian camel based, meaning it has 2 humps, rather than a Domary camel, which only has 1. If you didn't know, the humps on Camrupt's back are formed by the transformation of its bones through evolution. So yes, Not only does this Pokemon gain a second hump, its bones are coming out of its body and become hard as rock. Camerupt are very strong Pokemon, but they're also very headstrong as they have two incredible abilities. The first one most of them have is Rock Solid, which reduces super effective attacks, which really comes in handy against water type. Being a fire ground type, Camerupt has a huge weakness for water attacks, but with that ability, it can survive and even come back stronger. The second ability that some of them have is Magma Armor. Because of their hot volcanoes on top of them and their body temperature being hot, these Pokemon cannot be frozen. You cold in the winter? Put one of these in the snow and an early spring will come. But if you think its body looks hot, imagine how hot it is inside where its volcanoes are. The hidden ability of Camerupt is Anger Point, which makes sense as this Pokemon, when angry, erupts magma of 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Surprisingly, with magma this hot, this Pokemon cannot learn the move Overheat on its own, as it must be taught it by TM, which is strange since this Pokemon's temperature is as hot as the sun. As I said before, this Pokemon has a very short fuse, and it blows magma very easily. Thankfully, this Pokemon can learn Eruption and Lava Plume. Instead of blood, this Pokemon has hot lava coursing through its body, and this Pokemon sweats flames instead of sweating water, as Camerupt hate water, just like Numel. Even if Camerupt make it a long time without blowing their tops with a short fuse, the volcanoes on their backs have major eruptions almost every 10 years. Also, these Pokemon love living in the craters of a volcano, and they even like swimming in the lava. I do found it rather interesting that these camel Pokemon prefer to be in a volcano or in the volcanic areas rather than the desert, but I can see why, as they prefer heat rather than living in areas where its sand or water can affect their magma. The magma that falls on them apparently calms them down, and it's very good for their fur, as it makes it very hard and very shiny. As you can tell, Numel makes magma hot as a star, while Camerupt, on the other hand, makes magma as hot as the sun. Thank Arceus, in the Pokemon world, we have a good atmosphere, because if we didn't, these two could set fire to Earth's atmosphere, destroying all life on the planet as we know it. Are you a fan of these fire camels? I know I am, because I always went for them when I played Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. But not just that, I also went for them when I played Pokemon White 2. And the same thing goes when I went with Emerald back in the day. They were really fun Pokemon for me to raise. But if you're not a fan of them, that's fine too. There are plenty of Fire-type Pokemon out there to like. I know that Team Magma really liked them, as not only did a lot of them use Numel, Maxie, Tabitha, and Courtney, Maxie's two admins, used Camerupt as well, while Maxie liked to Mega Evolve his in his final fight, which was a really good final battle. But before I go, I want to say a huge thanks to Techronova for my Explosion Within shirt. She is an incredible artist. I often buy my shirts from her on Etsy. If you want to buy a shirt, please do, and give her the business she deserves. Before I go, I just want to say, March Meltdown has just begun. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you want me to talk about another Fire-type Pokemon, or you want to answer my questions, please comment. And if you're excited to see what else I have in store for you this month with March Meltdown, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Palm out.